Hello, this is Bill from Lilac Writer. I have another Studio One demo. The first one is really popular. It really kind of surprised me, so I thought I'd come back and do another one. And really, I'm just learning Studio One. I haven't used it a lot. I've used a lot of other software. And today, I thought I would just have fun with it. Here, you can hear this. All right, now this is just 4 tracks that I exported from another project. It's really basically a board mix. It's not only that, it's an incomplete board mix of basically poorly played blues. And my friend David played the harp on here. And I have 2 tracks of harp, a rhythm guitar, and a bass guitar. And this was recorded to a steady tempo of 120. And so the first thing I'm going to do is add some drums to it. And I'm going to use just some built-in content that I found on the stuff that comes with Studio One, the professional version. And I was browsing around and I found that I could kind of make these rock drums fit. This rock drums is from the Studio One Loops Volume 1. Drum loops in here that might work. Now, how you audition drum loops against something, I'm going to rewind to the beginning, play. Now, assuming that the loop is matched, let me just turn this down a little bit. Now you can just point to the different loops that you want to audition, and assuming play is pressed in here, it will work. Now, my project tempo is set to 120, but you can see that the loop tempo is 195. But assuming you have this engaged, it will match. I'm going to mute this. Right, so see, if this is not set, it doesn't play at the song tempo, but if it is, it will. And then as you click on these, they will start playing on the measure break. So they will line up with the music if you just wait until they catch up. So I'm going to rewind again. And every time you rewind, it appears that this drops that play. So let's just find one here. All right, I think this will do to get going. So once you've got loops in here, let's close this browser. You can duplicate them just with the D key, and you could duplicate as many of them as you need to get as many parts as you want. Now on the drum track, you're going to want to have it set to drums and to time stretch over here in the inspector, which you can turn on and off here. And that will make the drums conform correctly to the tempo. If you drag them into your project with that set, then you shouldn't have a problem with that. That should be set up already. All right, so let's go and see what we got. All right, one thing that I realized is that I have no crash to signify that I've gone to a new song section. So I'm going to go back to the browser. And when I was looking at this before, I realized I don't have any single shot crashes, which are very useful for this sort of thing. So in this situation, it's good to audition some of the other things to see if you've got a crash you can use. The ending's a good place to find them. Here's one. All right, so I'm going to grab this loop and bring it over here. I'll double click to open that in the editor and then zoom in. And I switch to the cutting tool, and I'm going to put a cut right before this cymbal crash. And I'm going to close the browser, which I can do with F5. And I'm just going to go in here and cut this off. Now we're really just having fun. Now I did that with this snap on, and so I didn't actually get it in the right spot. So we use Control Z to undo that. We'll turn snap back off. And then we'll put the cut right there. We could always adjust that later. Go back to the select tool. We'll delete this because we don't need any of that. And now we basically, I think we have probably what we need to go back up here and work on that. So I'll close the editor. Closing the editor is F2. And then we'll zoom in a little bit so we can work on that. And let's shorten this way up. All right, so now we have a crash. And I've got snap on, so let's just hear how it sounds. Yeah, it needs to stretch out a little bit more. Maybe we'll fade that crash. All right, so now we're going to use that. We're not going after perfection here. We're really just having fun. I'm going to do Command C to copy that, and then now we're going to listen and see. Okay, now there is a little bit of a spot where we could use this. So we'll put one in there. Let's hear how that sounds. And maybe we could use one right there. All right, that's enough of that. Because really what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to use all of this material. I'm just going to cut here. And that's there. I'm really only looking for about one cycle of this material. All right. Now, one thing, if you want to loop over a section, is you hit P and it adjusts the loop in and out points to that section. We do still need to adjust the beginning part of this loop. Okay, there's the beginning. That's not right. Right here. All right, there's our loop section. All right, good enough. So now that we've got that set, we're going to take this selection and pretty much just copy the whole thing. Before I do that, I'm going to put in, I'm just going to split it here. We're just going to select these pieces here. Maybe not the drums. We'll leave that as a count in. And all right, that's reasonably good. Now these parts, the guitar part and the bass part, they're a little bit sloppy, but I don't know. For a live board mix, I think I'll just go with that for now. And then I've always got I've got two harmonica parts. All right, so that's basically the one cycle of this 12-bar blues kind of a thing. So I've basically taken, really poorly played blues, and now I've at least organized it a little bit. Next thing I'm going to do is just set the colors up so that it's a little bit more interesting. I'm going to make these two harmonica parts the same color. Well, I think before I do anything more, I'm going to repeat this cycle. And I'll do that by just selecting all of this stuff here. And I'm using the arrow tool. And this is the cool thing with Studio One. D will give me a whole nother copy of that song section. All right, and with that, we're out of time. So we'll be back with more on this project in the next video. Hope you enjoyed watching. Visit lilacwriter.com, and we'll see you next time.